The memory warning most people forget until it's too late. Imagine walking into your kitchen, stopping in the middle of the room, and suddenly realizing you have no idea why you were there. For a moment, you freeze, you laugh it off. Maybe you are tired, maybe you are stressed, maybe you are right, just getting older. But what if that tiny moment, that harmless little mistake, was actually your brain trying to tell you something? What if the warning signs of memory decline don't begin when you forget names, or lose your keys, or miss an appointment? What if they begin years earlier? Tonight, we are uncovering the silent signals your brain may be sending long before memory loss becomes obvious. And one of them might surprise you. Most people believe memory loss begins with forgetting, but that's not always true. In many cases, the earliest changes are so subtle, they blend into everyday life. A forgotten purpose, a lost train of thought, a conversation that somehow slips away moments after it happened. Tiny moments, easy to ignore, easy to explain away, yet for some people, those moments become the first chapter of a much bigger story. 3 years ago, David was living what most people would call a normal life. At 57, he was active, successful, and deeply involved with family. Nothing seemed wrong. Then one day, his daughter asked him a simple question. "Did you read the message I sent to you?" David stared at her. He couldn't remember receiving it. She showed him a text. Not only had he read it, he had replied to it. The entire conversation had vanished from his memory. He laughed. Everyone forgets things, right? But then it happened again, and again, and again. At first, nobody worried, not even David, but something was changing. Something he couldn't see. The strange part wasn't that David was forgetting. The strange part was what happened before he forgot. His attention had started changing. Small details escaped him. Conversation became harder to follow. He found himself reading the same paragraph several times. His brain wasn't failing to remember. It was struggling to hold information long enough to store it, because memory doesn't start with remembering. It starts with attention. Imagine your brain as a giant library. Every conversation, every face, every experience must first pass through a librarian. That librarian is attention. If attention never properly captures information, the memory never gets stored. And if it never gets stored, you can't retrieve it later. This is why some people say, "I know I heard it, but I can't remember it." The problem may not be memory itself. The problem may have started before the memory was ever created. But attention problems are only one warning sign. There is another signal that often appears years before serious memory concerns develop, and most people blame it on stress. Symptoms people ignore. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why? Lost your train of thought during a sentence? Forgotten what you were about to say? Read the same paragraph repeatedly? Struggled to follow a group conversation? Repeated a question without realizing it? Occasionally, These things are completely normal, but when they become frequent, your brain may be asking for help, and that's message many people miss. For David, the turning point came one evening. His grandson wanted help building a toy airplane. The two sat together for nearly an hour. They laughed, talked, built memories. The next morning, David couldn't remember doing it. His daughter noticed the look on his face: confusion, fear, embarrassment. For the first time, he realized this wasn't just forgetfulness. Something deeper was happening. Memory problems affect more than memories. They affect confidence, relationships, independence, identity. People begin doubting themselves. They stop trusting their own mind. Some withdraw from social situations. Others become anxious. Many live in silence because they are afraid of what the symptoms might mean. And that's why awareness matters, not fear. Awareness. Because not every memory problem is dementia. Far from it. Many cases of memory problem can be improved. Poor sleep, stress, anxiety, depression, vitamin deficiency, certain medications, dehydration, lack of physical activities, even loneliness can affect how brain functions. The brain is incredibly powerful, but it is also deeply connected to the way we live, the food we eat, the sleep we get, the stress we carry, the relationship we nurture. Prevention. Experts often recommend simple habits that support brain health. Regular exercise, quality sleep, learning new skills, reading, social interaction, managing blood pressure, controlling blood sugar, reducing chronic stress, and staying mentally active. These habits may seem ordinary, but over time, they can have an extraordinary impact. Your brain rarely changes overnight. Instead, it whispers. A forgotten reason for entering a room, a lost conversation, a missing word, a moment that feels insignificant. Most people ignore those whispers. Some people listen, and sometimes listening changes everything, because memory loss doesn't always begin with forgetting. Sometimes it begins with the tiny warning signs hiding in plain sight. If this documentary helped you see those signs differently, subscribe and join our community. Every week we uncover the silent health warning most people miss, because the information that protects your future may be the information you discover today.